Gold and Silver haven't seen each other since elementary school. They decided to meet up at a bar. Gold walks in and sees his old friend and calls out to him, "AG!" Silver gets excited and shouts back, "Hey, you!" Have you gotten a glimpse of what we will be discussing today? Alright then, kindly hit the like button and the subscribe button for more amazing content like the one you are about to watch. For centuries, gold and silver have been recognized as one of the most prized assets. Even in this modern era, this notion has not changed. Gold and silver are still of high value, and more importantly, they perform well during the Depression and economic changes. Gold and silver have been the main currencies since the creation of the first market. These metals, and gold especially, are respected in all parts of the world and are valued throughout history. First ever coins that contain gold and silver were introduced by Lydian king Croesus 561 BC. Throughout the centuries, people continue to value and store gold and silver for many reasons. When economies fail, the fiat becomes worthless when we always return to the gold standard. This pattern started centuries ago and repeated in the most recent history. These are the primary reasons why they are considered as one of the best forms of investment. Have you been considering investing in gold and silver? Well, here are the reasons why you should invest in gold and silver now. Fiat money is destined to fail. All the world's currencies are fiat, and fiat currencies always fail. Most people around the world are unaware that the paper we call money is fiat. If you're not sure what fiat money is, let's clarify it. Fiat money is a government-issued currency that is not backed out by physical commodities such as gold or silver. In other words, fiat-based currency. You may say, so what is the problem with that? And here is the problem. There have been hundreds upon hundreds of fiat currencies throughout history, and they all failed. 100%, and not a single exception. However, it gets even worse here. Since 1971, the first time in history, all the world's currencies are fiat currencies. The reason alone is enough to start investing in gold and silver, but we have more. They are in high demand. Silver and gold are highly prized possessions that would always remain in high demand in most industries. The world is evolving, and so the mining industry is dwindling. Miners no longer take up as many projects as they used to due to environmental factors, safety reasons, economic uncertainty, and the likes. Even though they are not mined as much as before, gold and silver remain high in demand, especially in the fashion industry. Also, more industries value them more than ever before now. This is because of the uncertainty of other financial transactions, savings, and investment transaction platforms. Due to the significant spike in demand for them, their value has gone up more recently. The global economy. To understand what's wrong with the global economy, we need to look at history once again. Throughout history, all economies were going back and forth from quality currency to quantity currency, and again to quality currency. The quality currencies were coins containing gold and later diluted by cheaper metals such as copper that made it a quantity currency. Then it took a deceptive form of national currencies that were initially backed by money. These were called claim checks on gold. Claim check equals gold. Some time ago, the government changed the law giving them the right to print more claim checks on gold that didn't exist. Lots of claim checks equals no gold. The next step was to cut the connection between money and currency completely. That is what we know about the current state of the global economy. When we used real money, gold would balance all economies. Here is how the economic balance worked. When one country's economy boomed, they would import cheaper goods and services from the depressed country and lower the wage rate. The outflow of gold and silver would cause deflation and cool the economy. A country with a gold inflow would boom, causing wages and labor rates to increase. That made prices of the goods and services rise, making the first country switch back to producing its goods by exploiting local services. The trade imbalance was continuously rebalanced this way. Gold-backed money also made it harder for the government to spend more than they could produce. To spend more, they had to borrow gold from the private sector. If they borrowed too much gold, it caused interest rates to increase, which slowed down the economy, which caused tax revenue to fall. However, the debt-based monetary system allows deficit spending and imbalance trading to persist, making a considerable fraud bubble. The economic bubble is threatening to burst, only this time it can happen globally compared to one economy in the past. The Great Depression of 1929 and the recession of 2008 would seem like good times when the global economic bubble bursts. To survive in that ugly time, you need to own physical gold and silver. They are inflation-proof. Unlike other investments that are susceptible to inflation, gold and silver are inflation-proofed. Whether a nation's currency value decreases or increases, gold and silver are not liable to that uncertainty. According to historical analysis, precious metals are renowned because they perform well even during economic devastation and depression. Unlike most physical assets that deprecate with time, gold and silver either appreciate or retain the same value. Also, it fares better than most other forms of investments during world crises. During this coronavirus pandemic, it has been recorded that more investors turned towards precious metals for financial protection. Money printing doesn't work. When the crisis of 2008 hit the global economy, the US government government printed an insane amount of currency, and it continues to print to this day. From 2008 to 2016, money supply has increased by a staggering 120%, which caused real estate and stock market inflation. We can see that by looking at high record prices of real estate and stocks. The government thinks that they can save the situation by printing more trillions of dollars. Just imagine, the printing press runs, but nothing is backed up. At the end of the day, the market dictates the value of printed dollars. Credit debt bonds, fiat currency, and derivatives will implode that will trigger central banks to print even more to stabilize the situation, but it will only cause hyperinflation. When that happens, people will lose faith in the currency and rush to gold and silver, causing the precious metals to increase. If you already buy gold and silver, you will benefit even in that situation. They have universal value. Gold and silver do not lose their intrinsic value. Wherever you are in the world, precious metals remain precious metals. Gold and silver are known and valued everywhere. A gold trinket or a silver ring would maintain the same value in Australia as it would in the USA. This is due to its universality. This means if you invest in them, there is financial security and certainty for your precious metals whether you remain in your location or you move elsewhere. High liquidity rate. This is another reason why investing in gold is highly beneficial. Gold and silver have very high liquidity compared to most of the other investments. They are highly valued, and this makes converting them to cash very easy. Also, wherever you are in the world, or wherever you go, it is just as easy to convert them. Furthermore, you will still receive the right value in cash form. Meanwhile, the uncertainty in most other investments today is very high. With some other investments, your investment might deprecate or even get siphoned due to unfavorable economic tides. A highly valued physical possession. When you have a high valued physical possession, you are protected from a market crash, internet blackout, investment fraud, and the likes. Also, you can take your gold along with you to protect it during an emergency. This makes investing in silver worth it. Even though physical possession of gold and silver is on point, you need to be sure that they are kept in a safe location. Also, it is wise to have them insured against the probability of theft. Regardless, investing in gold and silver is a good idea as long as you keep them well secured. Gold and silver investments give you privacy. Most investments in the modern day need the expertise of a third-party financial consultant or financial institution. This means that you need to contact a third party before you can access your investments. It gets even scarier now that some external financial consultants try to scam investors out of their wealth. You can avoid this to a large extent by investing in gold and silver. With these precious metals, your private investment matters remain that, private. Also, you would be able to stay discreet without external parties knowing your actual worth. Generational investment. If you've been thinking of diverse assets you can leave behind for future generations, gold and silver might be the answer. You can consider preserving gold and silver and leaving it behind for your great-grandchildren and their children. They would be glad you did. This is because of the value of gold and silver appreciates over time. At times, gold and silver get so scarce that few left in the market sell their original value thrice. In times like that, your generations to come would greatly benefit from your investment. Also, the gold and silver could serve as heirlooms which your generations to come can use to remember and appreciate you. Gold and silver from several centuries ago are still in hand today, and their values have continued to increase even till now. Every single reason by itself is sufficient to start buying gold and silver. However, if you combine them, it becomes not only logical to store some for a rainy day, but to have it as one of the significant investment assets in your portfolio. If you're not really into investments, you know that saving is substantial. Save some gold and silver just as you would save cash. Except in this case, be sure that it's always going to be worth something. And that is something we can't say about fiat currency. It is straightforward to purchase gold and silver right now. There are at least a couple of bullion shops in each decent populated city. There are gold and silver bullions for all budgets. If you only have a spare $100 a month, start buying silver rounds or coins. One thing I recommend for precious metal buyers is to stay away from gold or silver certificates. This means you pay for the bullion, and instead of physical metal, they give you a promise certificate stating that you own that many ounces at their storing vault. The reason to stay away from these certificates is in case something goes south. You want to have immediate access to your bullion. Another great thing about thinking of gold and silver as savings is that it takes more effort to spend them. Cash can be spent so fast you won't know where it went, but it's different with precious metals. You would have to take it to a dealer, and that takes some time and planning. Like every other investment, gold and silver investments have their pros and cons. They have good days and not so good days. Regardless, their benefits are enthralling. From being a generational investment to being inflation-proofed, gold and silver are certainly worth their weight. Let me know what you think about investing in gold and silver in the comments section. Also, did I miss any reasons to buy gold and silver? It would be great to hear your thoughts. If you want to stay up to date with all my new videos coming out, be sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell icon next to the subscription button. Turn on all notifications, and that way, you'll be notified whenever we have new videos released. Do have a great time. Till next time. Bye!